Hello everyone, I'm Robyn Freye, Chief Growth Officer at Stagwell, and we are here live on the CES floor, day 2, which actually feels like day 7. We have over 1,000 new exhibitors here at CES, and there's so much to talk about. We are joined today with Michelle Froah, who is the SVP of Global Brand Marketing at MetLife, and also a current client of Stagwell. And we've been working on a really fun project together. You know, so much of CES is about future technology, but what Michelle has been doing at MetLife is actually focusing on the future customer. Michelle, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about maybe the project that we're working on together?
Yeah, thank you so much, Robyn. So nice to be here with you. So I'm at MetLife and working in global brand and marketing, and you know, I come from a background of marketing and thinking about our customers and consumers, across many different environments. Beauty, I've been in tech, now financial services. And, you know, I think one thing that is consistent in all of those experiences is that we all want to know our customers and we want to have a relationship with them. And that's really important, right? So this work has been amazing because we're not just, you know, our customers are very important to us. And we want to build these remarkable and enduring relationships with them, not just now, but for the future. So that's what this work is really doing. You know, we need to think about what that future is going to look like, and you know how our and so we got to look at signals and other things like that to determine what is the future world that our customer will live in? What kind of needs might they have then? And then, you know, how can MetLife maybe live our purpose in a different way to be able to bring that to life? And so we're aiming to understand, like, in the next 10 years, what does that future world look like? So the process we've been using too, I think, is really cool. Okay. So we've been doing some exploration, talking to futurists, experts in thought leadership, doing some ethnographies, and also some quantitative work around the world in many key markets across the world. So we're really excited to see where this nets out.
Fascinating. And I know the research hasn't been published yet, so you can't talk too much about it, but can you share maybe 3 themes that are kind of emerging as the current state of research?
Yeah. So I think the first one that I think has been a big topic here, but also, you know, kind of in the past years, is thinking about the future of well-being. Yeah. Right? And I think we've all taken some assessment of, like, what does that mean for us?
Yeah.
And so one of the areas that is going to change is longevity, right? And, you know, the lifespan that people are going to live, and thinking about that not just as a lifespan, but a health span too. So today our lives are broken up in like 3 chapters, right? Yeah. We have education, and then we have work, and then we have retirement. In the future, when you have a life that's 100 years plus, those chapters might look very different, right? And so there could be breaks in between those chapters where, you know, you may be taking a relationship change or time out to upskill or train, right? And so I think the needs that people have over this longer period of time are definitely going to change, and I think that's where, you know, some of the technology maybe can come in.
Yeah, there's a really cool company here by the name of Aeolus. I hope I pronounced that right. Robotics, but it's robotics to help with assisted care.
Oh,
right.
Wow,
so as we think about, you know, getting older and actually needing to have help around the house, this robotics company has developed robots specifically designed to help elders in home. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a big need.
What are maybe 2 other themes that are coming out?
So the other one is future of family, I think. And, you know, there's a lot of areas here, like multi-generation living, you know, and being multi-generational within the same household, non-traditional structures of families that are going to continue to emerge. But one of the areas that I find interesting, being a parent, so you know, you might as well, is vigilant parenting. And this is the thought that, you know, right now we're helping our kids get through all these stacked crises that we've been experiencing, and trying to make sure that they're protected and and cared for. But vigilant parenting is more like, as how do we build skills in our kids to actually help them be more prepared for change and more resilient on their own, right? And so like financial literacy could be one of those things where, especially as people are living longer, right? How do they think about the long term and problem solve and protect their futures themselves so that they can take care of them?
Yeah, and that's really interesting. There's so much AI technology on the floor at CES this year, but an even larger place around health, right? And if you start to think about how AI is impacting, one of the stats that I heard was that there's now only 2.6 doctors per 1,000 people in the United States, right? And this AI technology is coming in to help support, all of these things as it relates to mental health, physical health, emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Emotional well-being.
So the last one then would be the future of home. Okay, we're all spending a lot more time there. So what's that going to look like? And this also has some interesting intersections with the other areas we were just talking about, like blurred workspaces.
Yes.
And things like that. So one of the areas that I think is really interesting, though, is that it's almost going to be like everything has AI inside.
Yes.
And I'm sure we're seeing that here in CES, but today we use voice assistance apps, and that's like really interwoven in our lifestyle now. And in the future, AI might be the operating systems for work, for home, for cars, and that's going to generate a lot of new needs, customer needs in these environments as they change.
Yeah, and Samsung and LG, which obviously are the biggest exhibitors here at CES, talked a lot about AI actually in the refrigerators this year. If you start to think about that, one of the comments that they were making was, monitoring food waste. 30% of food for the average home is actually wasted.
That's
so the
my
AI
biggest
and the
pet peeve.
I know, mine too. And so this predictive technology can tell you how much food to buy, when it's actually going to waste, and really start to change those behaviors.
Yeah.
Michelle, I'm so thankful you're here today. We are almost out of time. You are one of the most respected marketers in the industry for so many reasons. And so I just have one last question. What is the one thing that marketers cannot ignore in 2023?
I think it is, as marketers, we're always striving to build those relationships, like I was saying at the start. And the way that we do that has to evolve.
Yeah.
And, we feel like we need to know who the customer is and all the data points behind them, right? And I think there's going to be a shift in that value exchange and what people are willing to give brands. And so as the power moves to people opting in and deciding whether they're going to give you your data or not, I think brands need to start thinking about what's the value that I can give to my customer so that we actually have a beneficial relationship. And so as that landscape changes a bit, I think we're going to have to think about how we market differently.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for joining.
Thank you.
I want to go walk the floor with you.
Yes,
so
I got my shoes on.
Let's go look at some of that AI technology.